What's up, everybody? Let me know when you're on, if you can hear my voice and see the, well, I was going to say see my screen, see my face. We'll get started in just a few minutes once we get some folks on. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good show. There's a lot of interest in this today. Mubashir says, hi, Chris. Hello, Mubashir.
Hello, Mubashir.
One of our regulars. Always a pleasure to have him on. Gonna see if I can't drum up some more folks. Well, that sure says everything is fine. Well, that's good to hear. There's a lot going on right now, so it's always good to hear that somebody's doing okay. What time is this there? It looks like it's still daylight.
Yeah, it's actually evening time, so the sunset's proper sunset time. So you'll see a dark mode in a few minutes, maybe.
Ross says, hey, Chris. Hey, Ross. What's up, buddy? Mubashir says, hey, Saket. Shazad says, hey, Chris, and hey, Saket. Am I saying your name right, by the way?
Saket from the Epiglottis.
Okay. You should have corrected me on that. Cecilio says, hi, guys.
Hey, C. By the way, C gave me an order like 2 days ago on Legiit. And he's very afraid of PBNs. And I'm like, come to the live. We'll tell you why PBN's not so scary.
Little preview on how he feels about PBNs. Lahuru, and I probably got that wrong too, so I apologize. Says, hi, guys. Hello. Look, wow, a lot of people on. So I guess we can go ahead and kick this thing off. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell us about your background, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good, Chris. First of all, I'm very generous for this opportunity. And I think it's my first interview, so I'm really excited to roll it with you, especially the owner of Legiit, Chris Walker himself. And a little background about me. I started SEO when I was 17 years old. I got interested into websites when I was 16. And I just want to make money, quick money. You know, every youngster in his 16 or teens wants to make money. And I was just curious about this online world, blogging and Google AdSense. And 6 months launching my first tech blog, I made my first dollar. A couple of months later, I made a couple of $100. My website started picking a bit of traffic, and it turned to thousands of dollars of business every month. In no matter very few time. So basically, it was going good. And there was a day when I was banned by Google AdSense, and my $5,000 worth of money just vanished away because I was doing some cheeky tricks and doing a bit of spamming, doing a bit of clickbait on my blog with a bit of ads. And just to realize that, okay, I'm not going to depend on Google anymore. I have to find a way out. And one of my ex-business partners who I was working with, he introduced me to the PBN world, and he was like, Saket, how about you go after finding some domains for me, because I spend thousands of dollars every month on PBNs. And I was like, shit, that's a very high-end skill. People are actually paying a lot of money. And this is back in 2016. And I just took a couple of videos, Scrapebox, expired domains, Register Compass, couple of tools, start finding some domains, start setting up some sites, and basically that is. And I just moved to London straight away, made like $20,000 with PBNs, and it was a fun journey. Then I started launching my agency back in when I was 18 years old, and it was very hard actually running an agency in UK. Like most people you call for marketing, they think you're scamming them, So it was kind of a scary start, and I just realized that it's very hard, and I had to. And that's the time when you launched Legiit, like 3 years ago, right? You just hit me up.
2.5.
Yeah. And things were kind of stable and very slow at my end in my business proposition, and I just joined out of curiosity. And I started picking customers on Legiit and giving them value, and started dropping some PBNs, made a service of PBN links. Now we have, like, coming to this day, we have like a 600 plus site network, which we sell links on and do for our own properties. And this is me today. Multiple 5-figure business on Legiit, and getting into this interview.
And so how old are you? I was surprised when you told me that the other day. How old are you now?
I'm like 22 now.
22. Wow.
Yeah.
I seriously have CDs that are older than you.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. I've known you for 4 or 5 years now from another marketplace that we both used to work on.
Yeah.
What inspired you to put like your stuff on a marketplace? Was it just a whim? Because that's kind of what it was for me. Or why'd you go that direction?
I realized like there's a lot of potential when you have to get customers. Like marketplace is the way to go. And my aim was always like providing value to a higher audience, and it's very easier to get that market scale level. Like you can, like on Legiit, I get like hundreds of inquiries every month and hundreds of orders, and it's very easy to. So that's like my main target, to provide value to as much people as I can. So that's like my main goal when I'm on marketplaces like Legiit, or used to be on Comica or Toast Market.
Okay. And like, do you still have the agency side, or are you just doing links, or what?
Yes, links. I'm saying I have a couple of small businesses. I'm involved in affiliate. I'm involved in PBN links. I'm involved in link building company, which is coming up. I'm involved in one Australian company. I'm involved in one New York agency I'm setting up. So I have a couple of small businesses. So it's just not PBN links, but every company needs PBN links. That's the thing. It's a base.
Okay. So the way we kind of brought people into this was, do PBN links still work? Now, obviously, I think it's pretty clear where you're going to land on that, but they're very controversial, right? I'm sure you get that question a lot. Like I know I do with, will this get my site penalized? Is this black hat? So talk about why PBN links work and why you think they're good, as opposed to, or at least as in addition to guest posts, niche edits, and all the other types of stuff.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of misinformation out there for PBNs. There's a lot. Like you get all types of these customers who'll come up to you with all these fancy metrics. Hey, give me this high TF domain and I'll rank my site. I'm like, it's not going to work out, mate, you know? And I'm just trying to be honest with the customer. I just try to be transparent. And I feel like they just read the old outdated articles back from 2016. And they're like, okay, PBNs give you penalty. And they come to a conclusion too quickly. And my take on PBNs is it's a sniper. Like, okay, guest posts give you a bit of diversification, niche edits, social stacking, social signals. They give you a bit of diversification, but you can always use PBNs as a sniper. Like, let's say your site's not moving. You've bought hundreds of outreach links, and you're wondering why it's not ranking. And you just go after the PBN. And I feel like all our sites are tested before we sell links on. So it's kind of that we test the PBNs before we sell links on. And I believe that works so good, like till today. Like all my link building campaigns are based on PBNs 80%. And I might diversify with social stacking, with a bit of niche edits, and that's about it. And I trust my PBNs.
Yeah, I've often used the analogy that PBNs are like the uppercut, and like the other links you do, you know, the web 2.0s and the foundation links and all that stuff, those are like the jabs and the right hook. Yeah, sure. And then when you're like ready to finish it off and like knock somebody out, meaning get to put number one, that a PBN is that uppercut right there. So I think that one of the reasons they have such a bad reputation is you used to be able to do them really poorly and they would still work. Like you could just literally throw up the generic WordPress site, spun content, and link to it, and it would work. Do you still do it that way? Do you think that it needs to be a little better? How do you effort you put into design?
Now with the PBN, it's just like you have to take care of all the footprints, you know. And we've got 2 VAs working for us who maintain the PBNs. So if you want to have a PBN, it's a full-time job. I must say you, I'm not lying. And sites go down, your sites get hacked. And I would say when it comes to footprints, you have to take that analogy that Google likes links from real sites, and you have to show your PBN it's a real legitimate site. It does not matter how it sounds like, but let's say if it has authority links coming to it, and you link properly after you've set up, and it has good content authority, like it's gonna boost your rankings with good anchor text strategy. Also plays a lot in PBNs. So you have to be careful with your anchors, what you're using, brand names, keyword names, just a bit of diversification, and it does the job for us and for our clients. What do you say on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's important to make it look like a real site. Like, you don't have to go crazy and get some, $3,000 design, but it can't just be the generic WordPress, whatever they're up to now, WordPress 2020 theme with fun content. Like, you need to at least make it look presentable. Yeah. But it still works. Like, I think that I think that I'm trying to not sound like a conspiracy theorist, but excuse me. But I think there's like this white hat versus black hat thing. And this, like, the white hat people are so committed to like their point of view that they just don't think it works. And it's like, and when I get asked, do PBN links still work? I think, do links still work? Because all it is a link from a blog. Like, it's really not different than a guest post, other than that it's privately owned, right?
You know what I think, Chris, like, people say niche edits are safe, guest posts are safe. My analogy is that PBNs are as risky as niche edits, because at the end of the day, you're just putting in your links in the niche edit blog, and if Google realizes it, you'll get a penalty. You just have to get a high-end job done. And I would say on guest posts, they're not working as good as they used to, like 2 years ago, like these days, like in 2020. And PBNs are still working better than guest posts. And I would say, I'm not saying guest posts or niche edits are bad, but I would use them just for diversification. Just so Google know the different types of links coming in, but this juice is where I'm going to push this site to the top ranks.
Yeah. And one thing I saw with the update that happened, I guess it's last month now, was a lot of people in the groups were like, I don't understand why this algorithm change affected me so much. I did everything right. It was all this, I put out all this great content, and I didn't do any black hat stuff or any PBN links. And I was like, there's a clue for you, linking works.
Yeah.
So
what I feel about the update is it was a bit of on page too. Like, all the low quality theme designs got really hit hard. And all the people who were just dependent upon quality outreach and niche edits got hit hard too. So they didn't have diversified profiles. And all my clients were safe, luckily, but yeah.
Good. We got a question here that kind of steals the thunder of the next question I was going to ask. So I'll let him ask it. He says, best practice is to get links from the same niche. How important is this factor? So how important do you think relevance of a PBN is to ranking? Like, for example, does it need to be a plumbing themed PBN to point to a plumbing site, or can you get a more general site and still get the power?
It's a very good question, and I get asked this a lot. And me and my team did this test. So we had 2 roofing sites. Sorry? Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I just want to make sure you knew.
Yeah. So basically, sorry about that. So we did a test, and we sent 15 roofing links to the roofer site, and we did 15 general links to general PBN links. That means any niche, like a mix of niche, society, arts, like whatever comes on Majestic Topical. And the general links performed 5x better. We were positioned like top 5 for all the keywords, and the roofing links, we were still like second page. It was not a big difference. So my analogy on this niche thing is that niche comes from permalinks, from titles, from images, from YouTube videos, from the content itself. Like, Google picks up the relevance from the post, not just the whole theme of the PBN. Because I think a good link to a PBN is it can still send you good juice to any niche. It's just that if it's a legitimate site or not. That's my analogy.
Okay. Yeah, I get asked that a lot too. And that's kind of what I say as well, is that you can manufacture the relevance with the title and the anchor text and the URL. And that's really all and the content. That's really all the relevance that you need. I mean, it'd be great if you could get, relevance ones every time, but it's really not that important. So, What was I going to say? But what do you use? What tools do you use to evaluate? Like, what metrics do you look at to determine if a domain is good for a PBN or not?
So, I used to be a Majestic person like yourself. I know you're very fond of Majestic. And I slowly jumped to Ahrefs, where I realized I was getting better quality domains, and they were doing better than Majestic domains. So I jumped into that, but slowly just to realize that all the automated tools in the market, they can't give you a proper exact theory that this PBN is going to be a good PBN for your network. It's just that we go after good link profiles and we go after high RD juicy domains. So that's the two, and we love age domains. Age is a big factor. So this is one of the theories that came into, like, one of our clients. So one of our services on Legiit, it's money site domains. This client came, bought a domain, and I gave him a 20 years expired domain, and it has 0 TF, 0 DR. And 6 months later, this client's ranking, this client has 2,000 index keywords on Ahrefs. Yeah, and that's massive. And I was like, what's playing here? Is it maybe the age? Yeah, age played. And where was the DR and TF where we initially analyzed the domain? And the client was also so surprised. He was like, oh shit, I was used to buy auction domains all the time and didn't realize that age is a big factor. So I would say age plays a lot when you have to repurpose the site.
So DR and age are the two things you look at, as probably as well as the links coming in?
Yeah, I would say some of the sites, let's say I get a customer and he asks me for DR40 plus domain, and I'm like, and he does not understand that DR5 or DR4, DR3 can have also good link profiles. Like, I've got some domains in my network who are DR4, and they've got links from BBC, New York Times, and The Guardian. So we just look at the link profiles at the end of the day and just go from there and see how much juice the site is getting, instead of judging the domain on the DR analysis. I think it can be manipulated to an extent.
That makes it harder to sell them, though, right? Like when you're selling domains, because people want to look for the metric, right?
But you just have to educate the client at the end of the day, and when a client sees the result, he trusts you and he comes back for more.
Yeah. Do you think traffic plays a role?
That's a very good question. Yeah, traffic does play a good role in rankings.
What I mean by traffic is, like, if you're analyzing a domain, do you look at the amount of traffic the domain gets or no?
We usually look at, so we have some customers who don't care about any metrics, and they come to us and they're like, we want 100 index keywords on Ahrefs or 50 index keywords. So they don't, just to give a theory that Google knows that this site is legitimate and it's showing up for some keywords. But I wouldn't say that it's like you can't get traffic on a domain which is not getting traffic. It's just sandboxed at the end of the day.
Okay. And do you have a certain number that you look for, whether it's RD, whether it's traffic, or it's just case?
We usually go after RD of 50 plus, and we go after like 5 to 6 authority links, and that can be any, like Google link, Google Plus, or Wikipedia, BBC, Guardian, New York Times, any top sites, and more like content links. Contextual links plays a lot when you're rebuilding PBNs instead of like spam directory PBNs. They're not going to work. It's like a low quality site, and Google sees it as a spam site. So why you want to repurpose it as a PBN?
And do you look at archive?
Yes, archive. We do check archive, but you know what happened? One of our teams forget to check archive, and So basically, this is another analogy about archive. So one of the sites, it was Japanese spammed, and you've seen some very bad Japanese spam domains,
Yeah.
And we forgot, like, we didn't reconfirm that it was Japanese spammed, and the domain got perfectly indexed. It was up for 3 months. We were linking off it, and we were like, why is this site performing so good? The links were on point. The links were so good. But just to realize it was Japanese spam, it was still performing so good. So I think it does not matter if archive is spammed as long as Google does not pick it,
Right.
And
You're still kind of playing with fire, though, right?
Yeah. That was it's a risk factor, SEO again, you have to take risks and evolve around what's the best site for my niche.
Right. All right. Let's see what some questions we have. I'm here with Saket. Is that right?
Saket, yes.
Saket. Okay. Want to make sure I get that right. Let's see. Nathan says, hi, Chris and Saket. Swadesh says, hello, guys. Mubashir says, you need more light in your room. Asim says, hi, everyone. Glad to be here. Glad to see you, Asim. Anju says, hi. Randy says, hi, guys. Nathan says, wow. Minu says, God bless. Watching you live. It's an amazing session. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Craig says, I made it. Hey, Chris. Hey, Sake. Anju says, very much impressed. You are very talented. Let's not give him a big head here.
Okay.
Jim says, hi, everyone. Hey, Jim. Lasher says, hi, Jim. We already answered Binay's question. Milad asks, do you think it's a good idea to use PBN on guest posts in order to increase the link juice like tier 2? That's a good question. I've experimented with that a little bit.
Yeah, I do that sometimes on the higher niches. So let's say it's a finance niche and you have to rank for payday loans. So I'll just hit like 100 links to different tier ones, and it just increases the juice so much. It makes the link, like, it powers the link. It gives more authority to the link and more juice passes. I don't know. It's like an analogy. Like, I feel like some guest posts you link, right? And they don't give much juice to your site, and you're like, why I'm spending so much money? And I feel like when you power the guest post or niche edits, it activates the power. PBN helps activating the power of the guest post. Like, that's what I've experienced. So yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I do something similar, because what you're doing is sometimes it's much easier to get like a really relevant guest post, but a guest post is a brand new post, so it's not going to really take advantage of the authority of the domain in some cases. Depends on the guest post. So powering that with a PBN is a great way to get the best of both worlds, I think.
Yeah.
Simo, where'd it go? Simo says, hi, a little late. No worries. Asim asks, what are the best practices to link to money sites that are not English? What's your experience in ranking non-English sites using your PBN links?
It's funny, like in the foreign markets, like I've seen some people still doing SAPE SEO, like getting all the Russian SAPE, and it's working for them, but I wouldn't suggest it in the long run, because Google's after the US Google and search algorithms based in United States, but it slowly shifts to the foreign markets. So I would say that, yeah, it's PBN links work very good in for the foreign niches, but it depends like what market you're in. SM, like, for, let's say, if you have to rank in Poland, it'll be like 10 times easier if you have to rank in, let's say, Netherlands, because there are a lot of SEOs doing the same things, and they're big networks. So you just have to see what power you need in your niche.
What about do you put like a foreign anchor text or foreign, like, do you write in the foreign language? How do you handle that?
Not on my network, but we sell CCTLDs, like demographic PBNs. Let's say Assam is in Germany, we can sell him like .de German domains, and he can set up sites on it, and later on he can structure it as a German blog, not English site, but yeah.
Yeah, I would love to be able to offer like both niche specific ones and language specific ones, but it's just too hard. Yeah. It's hard to do it profitably, unfortunately. When I first started selling PBN links, I did niche specific ones on every order, and problem was I would run out of one and have like some that were sitting there doing nothing. Yeah, and it wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
Jono says Saket is a legend. Made me plenty of money with his links.
Oh, cheers, Jono.
Dexter says good info from someone actually in the trenches. Nathan says, how do you test a PBN?
So it's a very good question. So what we do is when we set up a PBN, we basically let it sit for 4 to 5 weeks. I think that's a time frame, before the PBN starts working. And you just pick up a low competition niche, like let's say wooden chairs 2020. Pick an article, link to it, and see if it's working. That's how you test the PBN. You're gonna get to know in a week, like if it moves the needle or if it drops the needle.
Okay, so it takes a lot of time and patience, right?
Yeah.
Ryan says, do you like more exact links or brand links to send to a money site?
He means exact anchors?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Ryan, good question. One of the anchors that's working best for us, we do like branded plus keywords. So let's say we have a roofing company in Charlotte, and our company names is, let's say, Roofing Pros. So what we'll do is we'll put an anchor, Roofing Charlotte / or just hyphen Roofing Pros. So you're including the keyword and the brand, and it's very safe. We do this anchor a lot for most of our clients, so it works the best, I would say. What do you have to say, Chris, on this one?
Yeah, I prefer to keep I mean, that's a great tip. Like that was worth it for anybody who just watched. But yeah, I don't like to do branded ones from PBNs. I feel like there are other types of links for that. And as also with generic, I prefer to use the power of a PBN to really hit it with a good exact or close to anchor, as opposed to doing like a click here or a business name or whatever. So
yeah,
I feel like you're wasting a PBN to use that kind of anchor text.
Yeah, for sure.
Jim says, I'm only here for Chris Walker. Well, that's nice of you, but you should be here for our guest as well. Shayna says, great going, Saket. Keep it up. Swadesh says, I already used his PBN. It's good. I'm sure you're glad to hear that. Daniel says, just wanted to give a shout out to Saket. He's a great guy and SEO king.
No, Chris Walker is the SEO king.
No. Milad says, would you please explain more how to implement PBN for guest posts to get highest link juice?
Yeah, so Milad, so let's say you have 10 guest posts pointing to your money site. What you're going to do is you're going to pick up 50 PBN links, point it to your 10 guest posts, let's say 5 each, and you send direct anchors. You don't have to play like soft. You can play direct, and send a lot of juice. It basically activates the power of the link, or it'll just juice up the power. So that's the best way forward. And you can go heavy on the guest posts, but not like GSA spam, like be a little controlling when it comes to sending the juice to the guest post. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it's really the same thing you're doing with sending it to a money site. You're just treating the guest post as your money site in that case, right? Like, and then the guest post is going on to the money site. It's really no different. It's just a good way to get the relevance of relevance and trust of a guest post and the power of a PBN all in one. I actually sell guest posts, and I have an extra to power it with a PBN, and I may consider offering that as a package as itself too.
Yeah, that would be a perfect idea. Actually, a lot of people would be interested.
I think so. So, Georgie, if you're listening, get ready for that. This handsome devil says, here's Saket's profile on Legiit if you want to check that out. So that's both on Facebook and YouTube if you want to check out Saket.
Please for the shout out.
Oh, Nafal TV says, hey guys. Hello, Nafal. Nathan says, what's your take on foundation links for new websites? Yeah,
it's basically like you social stacking and you have to get a new site out of the sandbox period. So it's a good strategy. I wouldn't throw PBN links aside, which is on sandbox period. Like it's too risky, Yeah,
I mean, I kind of see that as the whole point of foundation links and where it gets its name, right? Like foundation is what you build on. So I do foundation links almost right away. And I think that they're best used for a new website. So that's my take on them. And I agree that I don't do PBNs right away. You have to
you have to take 4 to 8 weeks before you start smashing PBNs.
Yeah. Jim says, how have you been finding success on Legiit?
Oh, Jim, it's been a very wonderful journey, honestly. I'm really proud to be part of Legiit. And I've got my freedom, actually. I can travel anywhere and just work from anywhere. I have traveled like 4 countries now since I've joined Legiit. So the best part about that is freedom. It's not even money or clients. It's just that freedom and helping people and giving value, getting value.
Awesome. Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to, and I've shown your profile there on the screen for a minute. That's something I wanted to ask you about, because I know it's something that we differ on. Is you kind of like to travel and go do things. I prefer to stay and focus on my business. How do you manage? Not that you can't focus on your business while you travel, but how do you manage to balance the responsibility along with, living the laptop lifestyle, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, that's a very good question. When I started traveling, I was a bit confused because it was very hard. Once you start traveling and you have a full-time business running, like you don't know like how you're managing time, where you have to go, you're staying in a hotel or a guest house, whatever, and it gets hard, And once you get used to it, like this is more like organizing things, organizing your day. And let's say I was living in Bali 8 months a year last year, and it has been perfect for me. So I was just organizing my day. Let's say I wake up, I do some emails, I go out to a cafe, do more emails, I go to beach, 1 hour workout, come back, talk to clients, get some stuff done, and go out for dinner. It's just how you structure your day. And you can still live like a laptop lifestyle, but you just have to be more organized. That's my take on it.
I always hated that the Wi-Fi was unreliable. I also don't like working on a laptop. I like working with like a couple of big monitors and a keyboard and a desk. So everybody, to each their own.
Yeah.
Ross says, not at the stage with any of my customers to use PBNs, but getting excited at the prospect of using them. Great information, guys.
Cheers, Ross. They're the best.
Rid says, a very informative live session. The guy is far mature and intelligent than his age. Good going. Well, let's not get carried away. He's not that mature. Ifan says, no, we're not going to read that. Raghav says, God bless you, Saket, but your face is not visible properly.
Yeah, it's just the wrong timing of the session. It's a sunset time, and the lighting in this apartment sucks, so it's not something I can do about it.
Binay says, for keyword with medium difficulty, how many PBN links should we go ahead with? I'm glad that he asked this question because I get it a lot and it's tough to answer. So I'd like to see your take on it.
I would say, Binay, start testing with 10 PBNs a week. So that's what we do, and see how site is jumping on the SERPs, and keep the diversity. So let's say you sending links to your money page, also send links to your home page, also send links to your blog page, contact us page. Just keep that diversity and see what's working. And SEO is all about testing and analysis. And I see like every niche is different, and every ranking strategy is going to be different. It's not going to be same, like paper to paper, 80% this, 20% this. So you have to test and see what's working best for that niche, for that competition.
All right, good answer. Rid says, does private blogging network has created more traffic for you?
In what sense?
I think what he means is, does it get you more traffic? And no, it doesn't directly. Yeah. But it can lead to increased Google ranking, which then in turn leads to more traffic. Is that how you would answer that?
Yeah, same.
Okay. Charlene says, so it really doesn't matter the niche you are in for PBN to work well for you. I have a site offering DFY/PLR content in various categories. I wonder if it will work for this site.
Done for you, he means. Done for your site.
No, what she's saying is her site is a site that sells done for you content or PLR content. And she's asking if you could rank that with PBNs.
Charlene, it depends, like as we have mentioned, it's all about keeping the diversity. Let's say foundation links, social signals, PBNs, some niche areas. Just keep that diversity and just keep rolling as it is. And I would say just use PBNs as a sniper. Let's say you're not moving with all the social stacking and stuff. Just start implementing PBN links, and you'll see that jumps.
Okay. You've mentioned social stacking a few times. Can you explain what that is?
So it's basically like Instagram accounts, Pinterest, all the top social, like Twitter, and we tend to make 100 accounts, and it's basically social links from profile links, social profile links.
And you interlink them together? Is that what you mean?
No, we send it directly to the money site, just
Okay.
as a social proof, like
Okay.
social.
Yeah, I do something similar. I don't call it that. So.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's all right. It's just good to get different perspectives, Yeah. Jody says, "Hi guys, loving the chat. Would it be a good strategy to get niche edits, point to a guest post, point to a money site, and then powering up the niche edit with Web 2.0? I'm gonna leave that to you, but I have a thought on powering things up. So go ahead.
I would say that's too confusing, mate. Just SEO simple, keep it simple. Like if you want to target guest posts to the money side, niche edits to the money side, it's easy if you power up them with your PBNs, Like why you have to go after like a big tier and keep it complicated? You don't have to.
So this brings me to the topic of powering up things.
Yeah.
Do you power up your PBNs? Because I've always thought that was dumb, because like the whole point of buying a PBN is that it's powerful to begin with.
Yeah.
So what's your take on powering them up?
I would say if you have to power your PBN, increase the content on the PBN, because I've seen that plays a lot recently, because Google's going after content authority of all the sites. And if you want to make your site more legitimate, get more content published. And that's my take.
But I mean, do you think that a PBN needs to be powered up or no?
I don't think so. I think you can, if it's a low competition keyword, you can just smash PBNs directly. If it's a high competition keyword, you can power up the niche edits, guest posts. And if you still want to play around, you can send social signals to your PBNs, like play around that. Like, but PBN to a PBN to a PBN, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, and I just don't think it's necessary if you buy your domains correctly in the first place. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Nitin says geek mode. Milad says, I like the Legiit community. I know Chris handles Legiit in order to not being a website like BHW, which most of the reviews are fake. Well, thank you. We put more time than most of you will know into making sure we have something good. So I appreciate that. Jules says I would put him up there with Hatred PBNs. Some other people that are pretty good too.
Yeah. Hatred is good. One of my clients, he was suggesting Hatred, and he got the same results as my links, but he's good too.
Yeah, those are the two people that aren't me that I recommend, are Saket and Hatred.
And Chris Walker.
Well, that's why I said that aren't me. Oliver says, looking great, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, he's got a haircut.
Oh, God. Yeah. Man, I was so happy. Asim says, what's your take on link velocity? I mean, how do you control the speed of sending PBN links to a money site?
That's also a good question. So we control the speed by just playing like a couple links a week. So let's say from 5 to 10 links a week. It's enough, I would say. What's your take on that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, you probably don't need, it's not so much that you need to worry about getting penalized by doing too many, because ultimately it's a drop in the bucket of the internet, but you don't want to use resources you don't need to use. So doing any more than that, you're not going to know if it may have worked fine with 5 and you did 15,
Yeah.
So kind of pace it out. But as far as worrying about it getting a penalty, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. And I feel like if you're going after your tier 1, let's say guest post and niche edits, just smash it up. Like I would say I go after 100 links, literally. If I want to smash a niche edit or guest post, like go after tier 1.
Yeah. Rid says, a great example of a young entrepreneur, truly inspiring. And Chris, you are very patient. Thank you, I think. Jim says, how'd you get it started freelancing?
That's a very good question and very intriguing. So basically, I started freelancing on Alex Becker's platform, Source Market, and that's where I met Chris. And we used to be like top sellers. You remember Chris?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. We used to be on first page, and we used to get a lot of orders. And basically, it turned out to be a nightmare. And Chris got fed up, and he's like, "I'm starting my own Legiit." And it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's easy to bag on it now, but I mean, it also led to everything that I'm doing now, so I can't hate on it too much, you know?
Yeah.
Oliver says, we've done some CTR manipulation this week on a new website, and we got out of the sandbox in hours. Do you have any experience with that?
Yeah, we do that a lot sometimes, but most of the people we work with, it's not new website. It's basically people who are not getting rankings. So yeah, but it's a very useful trick you can do with CTR manipulation.
I've messed around with it. You have to do it just right, or else it's not going to work. You can tank your site if you don't do it right too. I found it works really well for manipulating internal rankings on other sites. So like Amazon and Yelp and things like that. You can actually use that to move up in the search of that site really, really well. So yeah, something to look out for. Nakul says, hi, Saket. With the new core update from Google just around the corner, don't you think PBNs will be penalized even more now by Google? Thank you.
That's a very good question, Nakul. I would say link building would still be alive. We just have to change our methods and how we link.
Yeah, I actually found that the sites that were powered with PBNs did very well in the recent update. So.
Yeah.
Simo says, what introduced you to SEO?
Is he asking Chris or me?
I think you.
Because you have more questions. But yeah, I was a 16-year-old kid, Simo. I was just intrigued by this website world and how you can make money. And that got me into SEO, which is my passion today. So short summary.
Okay. Rajinder says, hi, Seke. What is actually the meaning of PBN? Mamu here.
It actually means a private block network. So you basically have a network of sites which is going to push your money site, and you're going to make a lot of money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just a blog that you own, and because it's strong, it counts as a really important vote towards ranking your site in Google. Shazad says, hi, Seke. What things do you consider while choosing when buying the expired domain, and which hosting do you use for building the PBNs?
When buying the expired domains, like I said previously, I'll go after high RD and good profile contextual links, very original, and I can just see if it's a good PBN. I would say like just focus on these two metrics and see if it's aged enough, like 10 years plus, and it's gonna perform very well. And hosting, there are a couple of hosts out there, like Seeker Host, Host Papa, like Launch CDN. Just do a bit of diversification and get more C-class, A-class IPs diversified. I think Chris is launching a hosting company soon. So
no, that's not in the cards for me. One big project is enough for me.
Yeah.
Expert Web Design says, if I build a website on a domain I've owned for years and not used, is that still classified as a new site? Yes and no. Like, it'll keep the age as long as it's never dropped, but it won't have any power because it doesn't have any links going to it. Vasco says, how did you assemble your current team, and what do they help you out with?
So that's a good question. I've got two VAs who just manage the PBNs. Like, you can't manage PBNs by yourself and sell links and maintain your clients. It's a full-time job having a PBN network. You need people who can manage. And I've got a developer if I've got any, because I feel like on-site optimization matters a lot, and the design of a site matters a lot. It's not just PBNs, like everything matters. So I've got a developer who helps with web projects. So that's about it. I'm just focusing on increasing my team. I have a small team, so
great. Jim says, any tips for people looking to buy a PBN from you but not sure where to start?
that's a very good question, Jim. I would say there are a couple of PBN guides out there like Lionzeal and stuff. Just get a couple of tips and just hit me up, and I'll be happily able to help you with that. Like it's not rocket science building a PBN. It's just simple steps that you have to take and keep a blog network that's going to push your ranks with your guest posts on niche edits, whatever strategy you're following.
Great. Oliver says, such a nice view. I said the same thing when we got on. It's really nice. Nitin says, I've seen a few people linking out PBN to money site plus authority sites. Is it more safe or unnecessary? I guess he's asking, do you put outbound authority links in your content?
Yeah, you can do it a couple of times, but we don't really focus on linking out to authority sites. I don't think it matters as long as you're keeping the footprint safe.
Okay. Waslis says, hello, just joined. Hope everyone is doing well. Hello, Waslis. Simo asks, how many years did it take you to master what you're doing? I'll answer first. When I do master it, I'll let you know. That's my answer. How long did it take you?
Took me 5 years to what I'm today. I'm still not a master. I'm still learning every day, and that's the part of SEO. You keep learning every day, and implementing and being dynamic is very important. You just can't repeat the same strategy, and yeah,
that's one of the frustrating things about SEO too. Unfortunately, is that you can't do the same thing every time and get the same result every time, like you can with a lot of things in life. So,
yeah.
Luke says, hi, both. Used both your services. They're great. Thank you. What's your overall plan once you buy an expired domain?
Luke, so you get an expired domain, you set it up and send like 10 to 20 articles just to build up that content authority and make it look like a legitimate site with homepage length articles, because having a PBN is basically you sending homepage links, which is going to push your ranks, and in Google's algorithm, homepage links, when he picks up, it's going to send more boost to your site. So once you're done sending a content authority, just wait for 4 to 5 weeks. Don't hustle. Don't be in a rush. Just let it sit and just start sending some links to it, to your sites and to your properties, whatever they are.
Let me ask you a question. How many posts do you max out at on a PBN?
That's a very interesting question. So I've got some sites which have 100 posts, and they perform so good than some sites with 20 posts. I think it's just the content authority which is playing and how you're keeping that site legitimate. And let's say you max out a PBN to 50 posts and Google realize you're not updating your PBN, like you're gonna be hit by Google. It's not active anymore, you know?
Yeah. I used to do a thing where I had a plugin called Video Kraken, and what you would do is you would put in some keywords for it, and it would go make a new post every day or however many days you chose to do it. And it would just pull in a video from YouTube and make a post about it. And I found that those PBNs lasted way longer. Like that worked really well. And it did, after a while, it didn't work as well, but that was how I kept them active for a long time. And that worked quite well. Milad asks, do you have PBN service for music website? What do you recommend for a 2-year website to get ranked on Google?
Milad, first of all, it's quite vague if I have to recommend something, because I have to go after auditing your site, seeing how many links you have, how is the site ranking, and then I can recommend you a best plan. And just to tell, you can't just give a rough, vague answer on this, because it's very important. Like I have some customers who've got thousands of links, and I'm like, PBNs are not going to work because Google picked it up like you're trying hard on SEO. And if I send PBN links, it's not going to it's not going to make a difference. So I would say, if you have a site which is in music website, just drop me a link and I can audit it for you for free.
Awesome. I think the answer to that is the most common answer in SEO, which is it depends.
Yeah.
ASM asks if I have, let's say, 5 powerful links pointing to my money page, and I'm not yet there where I want to be, what would be the next move? Powering up the 5 links using PBN tier 2 links or adding more powerful links?
Yeah, awesome. It depends. Again, I would say I would power up the 5 links with more PBNs, let's say 3 to 5 PBNs to each tier 1. And even if I have to add more powerful links, I would add with diversity. I would make sure that all the money I've invested in these powerful links, I'm getting a good ROI on the rankings. And I'll take it from there, and I'll add more links and then more PBNs and then just more linking,
Cool. PJ says, hey guys, great info so far. I'm a beginner in SEO and was thinking about getting an SEO job for an agency locally. Do you think this would speed up my SEO skills, or should I freelance? Thanks. That's a good question.
Yeah, I started as working for an SEO agency back in London when I was starting my agency too. So I would say that's the best way to gain the skills. And when you have gained enough skills, you're out and you can go on starting your freelance business and get that course from Superstar SEO Academy, how to start a freelance business.
I don't agree. I don't think that the stuff they're going to teach you in an agency is the stuff that actually works in the real world, at least in the ones that I've interacted with. It seems to me they just read Moz and think that that's the holy grail of SEO, and that's not what works in my experience. So Swadesh says, if you need a WordPress developer, he can help.
Cheers, mate. I'll keep in my diary.
Ragav says, do PBN links help in combining social media platforms and social marketing platforms? Not sure I understand that question.
But yes, I would say yes, if you have to go after social marketing performance.
Okay. Vasco says, thank you. Where did you find your first VA? And do you have any tips on how to manage him, her? Curious, as I'm looking for someone to help me out.
That's a good question. I've got my business partner who has a team of VAs and developers. So basically, he gives the training, and I just have to tell him he's got the basic information. So I've got a good lead who gives me VAs and team. But if you have to start out, just do a market research, see what expertise the VAs have got. I can see a lot of VAs who are familiar with PBNs these days. So just try out different marketplaces and.
Mm-hmm. I don't really use VAs. I have all staff at this point, so I can't really add. Simo says, I guess I should have said to become as good as you are today. I mean, I've started in 2013, so I guess what's that, 6 years and change. I don't really know how else to answer that. But I mean, I felt pretty strong about it in 2016 is when I quit my job. So depends on what benchmark you want to look at, I guess. Ragad says, you make links visible for the people sitting over Instagram and Facebook to who wish to rank their business through legitimate likes and comments and links to profile. I'm sorry, I don't follow.
Yeah, that's a quite complicated question.
Yeah. If you could just clarify a little bit, Raghav, we'll do our best to tackle it for you. Jim says, not to discourage anyone looking to learn how to build a PBN, but I have to say, definitely weigh the options of if your time is better spent sticking with your specialty and outsourcing that to an expert like Saket or Chris. Big fan of letting the experts do what experts do. That's a good question. Do you,
that's very good.
Recommend building one for yourself versus buying links?
Yeah. That's a very good question. I believe that most of my clients that I'm talking to these days, I'm very transparent. I'm like, if you want to build a PBN, it's a full-time job. Mm-hmm. And do you have the team to manage your PBN? And do you have and it's very costly, to build a PBN these days. Mm-hmm. Like the domain cost, all the up costs. And I would say outsource to a legitimate person and just focus on increasing your business. You don't have to manage a PBN to grow your business. If you want to focus on growing your business, just outsource it to the experts like Chris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Simo says, so a PBN is a group of websites where you post content about the money site, which is your official website, in order to rank it. Did I get that right? Yeah, that's about right.
Yes.
And the whole theory is that these are domains that were once a regular website. And for whatever reason, the person that owned them, I guess we probably should have explained what a PBN was. The person that previously owned them let them go for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't have the business anymore. It doesn't matter. But since they were powerful at that time with different links and age and other things going into them, they still have that power. So what you do is you buy it, you rebuild it, and then you link out to your money site. And that counts as a vote. And not just not all votes are, it's not like democracy where all votes count the same, except in America. But it's where it's a strong vote, and Google's going to say, hey, that site is important and it likes that money site. So we better reward that money site with more ranking. So hopefully that made sense.
Good answer, Chris.
Waxless says, do you guys have a recommended PBN to normal links ratio, if that makes sense?
Yes, like PBN links are basically, Google sees them as legitimate links, like niche edits or outreach, It's just how you're doing it. So yeah, they are normal links to Google.
Yeah. I think what he's saying is like PBN links to like directories and citations and social profiles. Is there like, there's a golden number, like a percentage of these, a percentage of that?
I would say 70 to 80% PBNs, 20%. Wow. I would say 60% PBNs, 20% guest posts or niche edits, and 20% like web 2.0 social signals or social stacking.
Interesting. I kind of go the other direction, actually. I like to build like a lot of like a link foundation, and then use PBNs and guest posts and niche edits is like the last straw. But that's one of the great things about SEO is there's no one right way. So
yeah, for sure.
Lars asks, hi, from buying PBN links to see results on my site. How long time will there go? I guess how long until you see the results from buying a PBN link? I hate that. I know, but I hate when customers ask me that, because the answer is, well, I'll let you give your answer.
I would say it depends on the niche and how many links we have sent to your property to.
Mm-hmm.
Usually our customer sees results in 7 to 14 days, but it can take up to 4 weeks in exceptional cases, or even more. So it depends.
It also depends on how good a job they've done before they come to you too.
Yeah, for sure. How good is the on-site? How good is the link ratio and stuff? So
yeah, I've run into that where I've gotten a couple bad reviews because and maybe it's on me for not telling them before they did it, but they'd come to me with like a 1-page website they want to rank for lose weight. And then they buy one PBN link and expect to get mad that I didn't rank them. So
yeah, that's the reason I offer 5 links, because I don't want people to come after, hey, but I bought a link and I didn't see results.
Yeah. You probably still get that sometimes, but
yeah, it's just sometimes.
Yeah. Oliver says, do you think Google turned off their Penguin completely? Because back in the day, maybe 2012 to 16, Penguin used to target keyword-rich text, both partial and exact match. I don't think so. I think it was folded into the core algorithm. What do you think?
I think, I think the same. Like right now, we have to be very safe with the anchors and stuff like that. So back in the days, you just need to post blog comments with direct anchors and you can rank. So it's not the same case.
Yeah, I agree. I remember using Magic Submitter and rank really fast.
It was back in 2016.
Yeah, well, it was actually a little further back than that, but yeah. Let's see. Oh boy, I lost my place. Oliver says, but I think that's the case in 2020. I'm not seeing how to demote of any sort of algorithmic penalty just because using keyword-rich backlinks. What do you think about that? I think we kind of just answered that, right?
Yeah, it's the same question.
It'd be fun to test, though.
Yeah.
Milad says, what link building mastery course do you recommend?
I don't have any course. I just learned everything through testing and analysis, but I recommend Superstar SEO if you want to get into PBNs and stuff.
We do have a whole section on PBNs in that, and you can check that out at learnhowtorank.com. Jules says, dude, I love your fashion, no homo, but you look like the cool PBN guy. Jules is flirting with you a little bit there. He's spoken for, though, so. Edson says, what is your take on having the PBN posts on the homepage and roll them into inner pages a few weeks later? Will these posts still pass juice to the money site? He's saying, do you leave the post on the homepage or do you let them roll?
I've noticed that if they go into the inner pages, it's not much effect to the rankings. I think Google picks as like a homepage link, and later on it does not let that being it's in a.
Interesting. Uh-oh. Did we lose him? You still there?
Yeah.
Okay. You froze for a second. All right. Travis says, what's the best way to dominate a local market? One city. Let me ask you this a different way. When you get a geo-related term, so let's say Myrtle Beach plumber, do you recommend linking with Myrtle Beach plumber or with just plumber?
Yeah, Myrtle Beach plumber. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Although I know some people that would disagree.
I go after variations like I would say best Myrtle Beach plumber, good Myrtle Beach plumber, quality, just more variation. Yeah, top.
Waslis says, weird random question. Sorry for the weird question. Are you in Cornwall?
No, Wasset. I'm in Toulon, a small city in south of France, just near to Nice.
Where are you from?
I'm from India. I'm from North India, near the Himalayas, if you have heard of it.
Nitin says, most informative video in a short time. Thank you for sharing your valuable suggestions and experiences with us.
Cheers, Nitin.
Faria says, great session, really enjoying it. I've seen people using spun content for the PBNs. Is it still safe to work with spun content for PBNs considering the Google updates? I am not a fan of that at all, but I'd be interested to hear your take.
I would say it depends on what spun content you're using. Like my business partner uses Article Forge, and it creates a very high quality original, like artificial intelligence article. You know, you don't have any human writing it. So it depends what spun you're using. Like if it's too spun, Google can see it. So just careful, you know.
Yeah, I used to do Word AI, and by the time like what it spit out, I had to go and edit so much. It just wasn't worth the effort. An article is $3-4, so I just build that into my cost.
Yeah.
Asim says, what's your take on powering social profiles, Pinterest, Instagram, etc., using PBNs? Will that boost the rankings in your experience, or is it an overkill?
Yeah, it can help. It's the same you powering up the guest post on niche edits. It's the same thing you're doing for Pinterest or Instagram. It can help to an extent, but not much.
Yeah. It can help that rank if you're looking to rank the social profile for some reason, but I'm not a huge fan of using them that way. Ross says, I legit, see what I did there? My man. Outsource all my foundation links, DAS, articles, etc., as I'm better off doing the web design work and linking my content when it gets delivered. I stay in my lane and spend my time doing what earns me the most money. That's brilliant advice. That's definitely how I do it too.
Yes.
Lastly says 18 watching on YouTube and only 5 likes. Like the stream. It's always coming through for me in that way. Expert web design. Do you sell PBN? Do you have any in the UK plumbing niche? That gives me a good chance to bring up your service on the screen. And you can go ahead and answer his question about the niche.
Yes, I do sell PBNs, and if you want any PBNs in the .co.uk TLD, I'll be happily able to help you. And I would say it's more like you need very strong PBNs, you know, because I can see UK is getting competitive too. There are a lot of SEOs out there. So just focus on good link profiles, PBNs, and if you have to build it out for the plumber niche, or just outsource the link building.
Yep. And this is, I dropped it in the chat, so you'll see that in a second, but this is his profile on Legiit. You can see he's a level 4 seller, great on-time delivery, 1,200 completed orders, and has a handful of services. And you notice that he, like Ross was saying, he, for the most part, stays in his lane. Like there's mostly just PBN related services. There are a couple other things, but yeah. So check him out on Legiit at Saket Wahi.
Saket Wahi, yes. You'll get my name correct by the end of this interview.
I doubt it. Let's see. Timo says, interesting. Thanks for the explanation. Oh, man, it scrolled off the screen again. Asim says, if a client on Legiit placed an order for a specific money site, placed another order a few weeks later for the same money site, would you make sure to add the second set of links on new sites?
Yes, we keep a track for all our customers, and yeah, it's a scenario that we send different links. We've got 600 sites, Asim. It's very hard that we repeat the same links in the same sites.
Yeah, we do the same. In fact, we actually have an internal software that Georgie built that manages all that and keeps track of all of it for us. So last list says, cool, thanks for the explanation. Luke says, when you say link foundation, do you recommend these for each post you're trying to rank? The PBN/niche edits?
I'd say just send it to the homepage. That's where your brand name and property stands for, and you can take
foundation links.
Foundation?
Yeah, you're saying you send the foundation links to the homepage, and then you send the PBNs right to the post, or do you send the PBNs to the homepage as well?
I would send foundation to the homepage, and I would send PBNs to 2 or 3 different pages if I'm doing a big link building campaign.
Okay.
No, it's very predictable for Google. If you're sending like 100 PBNs to one page, you just have to keep a bit of diversification flowing, juice flowing through all the pages.
Okay. Dipanshu says, hey, Chris and Saket, are you using any indexing services? Typically, how much time it takes you to index a post? Fellow PBN seller and just joined Legiit. First of all, welcome to Legiit. Glad to have you on board. What's your take on indexing?
I see a couple of. I used to use this software, bulk ad URL checker, and they just discontinued their service because Google brought up a thing and they couldn't, do the same method. But I see a couple of indexing services my clients have been using. They work well. But I would say if your PBN is legitimate, and right now the Google crawl rate is very slow, and some new indexing services. But it's not going to be the same. But after 2 to 3 days, I recommend natural indexing. I wouldn't force index a PBN link.
Yeah, I agree. People are far too interested in indexing in general in SEO. Yeah. Like a lot of people think that a link is worthless if it doesn't get indexed, and that's just not true.
Yeah.
I mean, with a PBN link, you want it to index, but with like a citation or something, it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
Dipanshu says, hey, Chris, are you, okay, that got posted twice. Shazad says, do you build links for your PBNs? I guess he means, do you power up your PBNs?
Hey, Shazad, not me personally. I don't power PBNs. They have enough power.
Yeah, I agree. He says, it looks like Cornwall, apologies. Hi, Chris, how is an article $3 to $4? I mean, a decent one, of course. I mean, it's not going to be like in-depth, well-researched content, but it'll get the keyword in there. It'll be about the topic, and it'll be in proper English, So it's, to me, that's, I can get articles around $3.15 for like 400 words. So it's, I wouldn't use those as a money site, but for PBN, it's fine. At least it's original content and it reads properly and stuff like that. It's not going to be interesting or anything like that, but that's neither here nor there. Chris says there's Saket's profile if you want to check that out. Man, he looks good. John says, how did you get your first clients? How do you get them now?
I didn't have clients initially. I used to depend on Google to pay me monthly on Google AdSense. I go into client SEO later. But to get clients, you just have to market properly, not be too pushy with the clients. That's my take. Like if you if you're really valuable, just give enough value to the client that he trusts you and he can give you like a full month's link building campaign. And that's my take on it. What do you have to say, Chris?
Yeah, I think that one thing you have to think about is a lot of SEOs want to go in and talk about SEO, and clients don't care. Like prospects, I should say, don't care. If you go in and talk to, say, let's go keep going with the plumber example, because that's like some law that you always have to use plumber as an example. But if you talk to them about, I'm going to increase your Google ranking and you'll show up in the map pack and you'll get this much, they don't care about that shit. That they want is to know how they have a problem and how you can solve it for them. So what a lot of SEOs don't do is talk to them and understand what's going on with their business and how they can help them in their business. So I think that if you can master that part of sales, you'll do much, much better than if you just go in and talk about how you're not ranking on the first page. You know, that same email that we all get every day. You're not ranking on the first page of Google, and so that's my take on that. Nathan says, how do you check PBN link ranking position? Software?
No, we just manually check.
Yeah, I mean, for my client sites and my own sites, I use ProRank Tracker, but
for the clients, yes, we have a rank tracker, but I thought in a different context.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I don't bother checking any position of what they're ranking for, unless he means like initially when you're buying a domain, and then I imagine you just use Ahrefs or something to see what kind of organic keywords.
That's easier. Ahrefs does the job.
Yeah. Like you probably don't really care what the keywords are as much as there are some, right?
Yeah.
Okay. ASIM says, I use generic anchors and naked URLs in all my link foundations and save the exact match anchors and LSIs of the exact match to the more powerful links like PBN, niche edit, etc. Are you doing it the same way?
I'm more going after brand names and brand names plus keywords. So this is my most approach. So if let's say ASIM, I have to build 10 links, like I'll be sending 6 to 8 links with the anchors targeting to the brand plus keywords. So they are safe. You know, you have a brand plus you have the keyword. It's not direct or it's not branded, but it's both.
Wasless says 1,207 orders and almost all on time. Wow, that's crazy. Well done.
Cheers, mate.
Nod says, do you sell guest posts? I don't think Saket does. I do, though.
Yeah, go to Chris.
Faria says, which tools do you find great for finding expired domains?
Actually, this is kind of very confidential because we have our own system set up by our in-house developers. So I'm not very comfortable answering this question.
Yeah. CC says, what's the difference between ordering your rank and refund versus ordering high quality permanent contextual PBN links? Is one order more powerful than the other? Is one safer than the other, etc.? Let's bring up your page so you can answer that. And because it's
like you're getting PBN links, but you're not getting any guarantee that it's going to move the needle. But in rank or refund, we're giving you the guarantee that if it'll move the needle, and if not, we'll provide you a refund. As simple as that.
I imagine there's a little bit more strategy involved in the rank or refund run, right? Like
it's very hideous.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. ASIM says, does the TLD of a PBN play a role in the rankings of the money site they point to? For example, would a .com PBN help me rank a German .de in Germany?
That's a good question, Asim. I would say it's about diversification of TLDs. Like I've noticed if I send .com links to too much of a .com site, it would be very like unnatural to me. I don't know. I just keep it diversified through all the TLDs I have in my network.
Yeah. I think a .com you can almost get away with linking to anything because it's like the universal.
Yeah, for sure.
Travis says link to the $3 articles. That's not something that I have. I have internal people that do it, but there are sites out there where you can get content that cheap. You can probably find somebody on Legiit too. I don't have one off the top of my head though. Shazad Oh, he's on YouTube now. I was like, his name said Shazad earlier. He says, how do you get niche edit links indexed fast? Because sometimes Google take more time, usually, or ignore. Niche edit should already be indexed.
Yes. You just have to detect, again, with the second role.
What? I'm sorry, what?
I'm saying it's already indexed. It just have to be detected once the link's placed. So I would say keep it natural. You don't have to force index it.
Yeah. In fact, I wouldn't buy a niche edit if that wasn't indexed.
Yeah.
Chris, where do you buy such cheap articles? Can you share? It's an internal team. I regret bringing that up. It's an internal team right now, but there are also other sites out there that you can do it. And you can probably find someone on Legiit that sells PBN content as well. Again, it's not something you want to put on a money site or at all. It's just, basic English and the keyword in it. Wasla says, if you didn't build links in the first 6 months of a site, apart from maybe 20 to 30 guest posts, Web 2.0s, etc., would building 100 foundation links tripped to the homepage really look on that? Whoa, man, this is a complicated question. Or is it fine? I'm going to answer and say, I think you're way overthinking it.
Yeah.
First of all, 20 to 30 guest posts is a lot. You're kind of doing it all backwards. You want to do, well, I'll answer it my way and then you can answer it your way. I do the foundation links, a couple hundred probably to just build out a brand around the site. And then I do the PBN links and guest posts and niche edits. What's your answer on that? Overall, though, I think that Wassless, you're making SEO too hard. But what's your answer on that?
If you're going after guest posts and linking to your property, why are you going after foundation? Like, it should be like the first step. Like, you can go after other strategies instead of going after building foundation links.
Luke says, what's the quickest / free way to check if links indexed? If you have the URL, you just do site : URL in Google. I'm not even gonna try that name. Does EM? No offense, I don't want to embarrass you, but does EMD still work?
Yeah, they do work. I've seen a couple of local niches ranking on EMDs, very, very positioned. So I feel like Google still gives a little preference to EMDs.
Yep. Well, because Google is ultimately a computer.
Yeah.
And it understands when your site is myrtlebeachplumber.com, that's a site about a Myrtle Beach plumber. Like, I don't know where the myth that EMDs don't work anymore came from. I think that if somebody wasn't able to get them to work, it was because they didn't know what they were doing and like over optimized it, most likely, but they definitely still work. I love them. So, All right. That was, we're caught up on the questions. We've been here for an hour and 18 minutes.
18 minutes.
Yeah, still a lot of folks on. So if, I don't know, do you need to go?
No, it's all good.
Okay. So if anybody has any more questions, we can keep it going. Or if you want, we can go ahead and wrap it up for today. I think this has been an awesome session. A lot of people still on. Great engagement, great questions. Do you have anything you'd like to talk about?
I think I've talked about most things, but yeah, I would say PBNs are still a way to go when it comes to rankings. You just can't ignore it and be like, I'm 100% outreach guy. And when I ask you further questions, you invested $6,000 to $7,000 on the hot, and you're still ranking page 2. Even close to top 3. So I would say just don't be ignorant that PBNs still work, and they're still working very good. And I would say that Google's going after guest posts more than PBNs. So, and diversification of links is the best strategy if you have to rank your site. So just keep the diversification of all the links that are coming to your property, and just keep the anchor text safe and sound, and you'll get those desired results at the end of the day. You're just following all the guidelines.
What do you say to people that say you don't need links at all?
That's so funny.
I think you kind of answered that. Lassless says, yeah, I did build the links in a bad way. The guest posts are also mainly manual through like actual guest posts with a written and branded link to the homepage. I mean, that's fine. It's just, I think you're making it harder on yourself than you need to.
Yeah, just do it, man. Just don't overthink.
Simo says, great session today. Awesome. Thank you, Simo. Glad you enjoyed. Shazad asks, sometimes clients build unnatural links to the PBNs. How to deal with them? That's why I don't give out the links to my PBNs. I remember one of the first questions I got when I started selling PBN links was, if you don't give me the link, how can I send Money Robot to it to power it up? I was like, that's why I don't give it to you. That and because literally every site I've ever shown someone has been hacked or spammed or attacked. I've literally had like people find my phone number and call and threaten me or my family. Like, that's why I keep stuff private. And I assume that that's kind of the same reason for you. Last list says, thanks for coming on and thanks for streaming, Chris. Much appreciated.
Cheers.
Asim says, this has been a great session, Chris and Saket. Thanks so much, Saket, for showing up. It's been great talking to you, especially that we have not talked for a while. Take care and stay safe.
Cheers, Asim.
Oyanyi says, many say DA is a ranking factor. However, there are sites with low DA outranking high DA sites. What can you say about that? I have an opinion on that, and I'll let you say that too.
I feel like DA can be manipulated. I've seen like DR10 sites rank better than DA40. So you just have to see if someone's manipulating the DA, it's not going to work because Google's not dumb. And if you keep the DA, just let it flow, not focus on increasing the DA. And like at the end of the day, like you can rank with low DA sites.
Yeah. Of all the tools that give you metrics, SEMrush, Majestic, Ahrefs, and Moz. Moz is by far the most worthless one, in my opinion. They don't show enough backlinks, and their native metrics, DA and PA, are completely off. And spam score, I get asked about this one a lot lately. I don't know how they convince
people. Spam score is not even a real metric, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And I get asked about that. Do you get that from customers a lot?
Yeah. I was like, there's this guy, he's like, your PBN link spam score is 75%. I'm like, oh my days, but it's ranking so many keywords. How is that possible? Tell me.
Yeah, I can't stand that. And it's a completely worthless metric. So,
yeah. There are a lot of myths out there that needs to be debunked.
Yes.
How about we create like pbnmythsdebunked.com?
I think we should do that case study we were talking about, ranking with just on-page and PBNs. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be quite fun.
NMR 20067 says, I know of an SEO YouTuber who says links don't work. Won't name anyone. I'm just keep laughing like you guys. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I actually know him personally, and he's a good guy, and he did that to get attention, and it worked. So, whatever. Last list says, still think that the 10 people who haven't liked the stream should like the stream. It then says, thank you. Simo says, Wassless got your back, Chris. As always, you both do. Wassless says, Simo, you know it. Hook Agency says, got a shout out for you there, Hook Agency. This is great live. Thanks, y'all. Simo says, Chris, you mentioned the other day that I should partner with Wassless. I was wondering what he does exactly. You guys can talk on Legiit, but basically Wassless manages my Twitter and does some other social media services, but he says he sucks at creating visual content, logos, that sort of thing. So I think it would be a nice marriage, not literally, but of skills. Wassless says, yeah, DA, spam score, etc. are so dumb. DA might be a bit correlated, but that's it. I have a DA 10 site outranking a DA 80, but a DA 5 is outranking me. Well, there you go. NMR says, bottom line, backlinks still matter. Totally. I can't stand the white hat community. Like, not them personally, but like this, they're basically the hipsters of SEO. They liked it back before it was famous or whatever. And they're so like emotionally triggered by that. I don't get it. But if I found that links didn't work, I'd be happy to stop doing it because it'd be much easier to just write nice articles.
Yeah.
Luke says, really useful and informative. Thanks, guys, for this. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
And we're caught up on questions again. And there's one more coming over from YouTube, and then I think we're going to wrap it up because even though there's a lot of people on, questions are dying down. For whatever reason, the questions take a while to jump over from YouTube to StreamYard, so sometimes I have to babble while it does that. So, man, it's really. What's that?
Good multitasking.
Yeah. Well, that's a talent I've developed over the last couple of years, is the ability to talk about nothing when there's nothing to talk about. Interesting. Last list. Can you drop your legit username? Hook Agency says, talk to the lead SEO scientist at Moz at a conference, and DA is a point they aren't maintaining as much as he was frustrated by it. Well, that's very interesting and not surprising, really. I think that those tools, not the tools themselves, but those metrics that the tools create out of thin air are really good marketing more than anything.
Yeah.
Vasco says, what's the biggest amount of links you've had to send to a website before it moved the needle? Well, that's an interesting question.
I would say it's 20 to 30 maximum, and it should move the needle. And if it's not, there's something wrong on your site.
On page or something.
Yeah.
Last list says, I'll shoot you a message. Yours is Design It, right? Yeah, that's me. Cool. I'll shoot you a message. Vasco says, do you have any future plans for your business? Yeah, what's the future hold for you? That's a good question.
My future is just keep traveling, keep maintaining the laptop lifestyle, build a more solid team like yourself, Chris. Like, I've learned over the past few years that I used to be a one-man army kind of guy. And I realized that it's not going to work long term. And if you want more people to give value to, you need a team. You need someone you can rely on and to cope up with and keep your orders fulfilled and your customers fulfilled and build an amazing team. So that's my main plan, to build an amazing team. Secondly, maybe I'd like to open like a PBN channel on YouTube and talk about all the myths and stuff and share some case studies. That'll be quite interesting. Like,
you should definitely do that. Like, you obviously know the subject, you're passionate about it, and just look at today, like there's clearly interest still. So, and you know, not to sound like the capitalistic little weasel, but it'll help your sales a lot too. Like, I did that workhorse video back in 2016, and I still get questions about that literally every day. And then I did that how to rank an image using Sendwire video like 2 or 3 years ago, and I still get orders for that today. So for those of you that are freelancers out there listening, YouTube content works. And for you, I think that would be great. And you could quickly establish yourself as like the PBN guy.
Yeah.
And you could tell all those little white hats that don't think that links work to go themselves. Wasla says, done. Wasla says, sorry for all the questions. If all your competitors on a specific keyword have a low amount of links, but a really high DA, can you have too many links? Like, will Google think it's unnatural if you have a bunch of links and nobody else has as many to you as you to that page?
I would say if the tool's showing that it's low amount of links and he's ranking on the top position, he's hiding his PBN like we do. So
yeah, do you get people that complain about that? Because I always hide mine using different plugins or
Hey, do you want your competitors to report to Google that you being cheeky? And they're like, oh yeah, well, I understand.
Yeah, there's way too many nefarious folks out there for that. So
yeah,
I also don't, I mean, I probably shouldn't even say this, but I also don't want to get people that think that they're experts that don't know crap, that are going to like analyze it and say, well, your logo isn't very good, so this is going to get a manual penalty or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So that's another reason I don't share my links.
Logo isn't good.
You're laughing because that's an actual real example of one I got, by the way. And so you're laughing because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Vasco says, do you currently invest a lot of your profits back in your business? What's the biggest thing you're reinvesting in right now?
Basically, I'm investing on building a team. I've got 4 business partners, which I divide the PBN costs with. It gets very easier and even easier to maintain the costs of sharing. And I'm reinvesting on the team, and maybe I'll reinvest on other things like Bitcoin. I don't know. What do you think of this Corona situation of the digital currency?
I don't know.
They're debunking the wallets. You know, there's going to be a cashless society, and I think like there's going to be a big attention to the crypto market and digital currency.
Yeah, we had Iman. We had him on a couple of weeks ago. He is heavily in crypto now too, and it was a great talk. So you guys should definitely check that out. I don't know enough about it to speak with it expertly. So Vasco says, I'd love to see that PBN YouTube channel for sure. There you go.
Soon.
Milad says, If a website is abandoned for a year, should we start off with foundation links? I guess it depends on what you mean by abandoned. Yeah, can you maybe
if you're
clarify?
still appearing on the SERPs, yeah, I would say if you're still appearing on the SERPs for some keywords, it does not mean it's been abandoned. But if you're in a sandbox, if that's what you mean, okay, go after foundation links and start the chapter 1.
Yeah. The only thing I guess abandoned, when my first thought was you meant that like it got dropped, which unfortunately when that happens, you lose your age is the only thing. So if the site like is 20 years old and then it goes to auction and nobody buys it and it expires, then it loses its age. So
yeah.
So if you have 10 links to that page, natural, anchor, mixed types of links, the chances of a penalty for that reason are fairly small.
Yes, 10 links is nothing, to be honest. Like we got like 300 links sometimes, so and we still don't get a penalty. We get there's ways you can diversify. So 10 is not.
There's trillions of pages on the internet, so your 10 are not that interesting.
Yeah.
So that's how I try to look at it. Milan says not publishing any articles. I guess that's what he means by abandoned. So yeah, that's not abandoned. That's just you got busy and didn't have time to update anything.
Keep back on it, update every other week, and just get back track on it and see that Google that you have started working on your site again, and show that Google that trust. Okay, he's back.
Mm-hmm. Luke says, what's your recommendation for a new post on an already ranking site? Straight in with PBN, or what's the best way?
He means new ranking page? Like
I think he means as like a blog and he makes a new post. Is he saying, do you immediately send it to PBN or is there something else?
So basically he's saying that if he builds a money page or a blog and sends it to a PBN.
No.
I don't get this question.
On his money site, if he makes a new post and he wants to rank that new post, should he immediately send PBN to that post?
Yeah, it depends, Luke. Like if you've already got that authority, you're gonna appear on the subs real quick, and you can send PBN straight, but a little very not direct anchors, a little safe than naked and a bit of branded, and just keep it safe because you've already got that authority. And if not, just diversify links.
Great. John says, how many business partners do you have, Chris? How much staff do you have? Thanks. Let's start with the Legiit side. As a business partner, I have Jim, who you guys are probably all familiar with. Then we have a development staff that has about 3 people on it, sometimes more, as needs fluctuate. Then I have 3 people that do customer support, and then myself, of course. And then Georgie, who's kind of like the, I guess, project manager, or I gave him the title director of operations because it's the acronym for it is DO, and I found that funny. But he kind of handles different things. Then on the superstar side in the academy, I have Scott, Jeff, and Jim as coaches. And then I have one of the people that works support also works for me on the superstar side doing actually PBN research, among other things. And then Georgia handles literally all of my orders and most of my questions on Legiit. And I'm forgetting somebody. I don't know. And whoever else I have, I can't think of. I know I'm forgetting someone, but so in all, that's what, about 10, 12 people. So it's pretty, not to go off on a rant, but it's pretty incredible to think that it's come to that, because I never intended to have like that many people counting on me or, working with me. Because as recently as like this time in 2017, I was literally doing everything myself: ads, fulfillment, links, SEO, clients, everything I was doing myself 3 years ago. And now it's a pretty big team. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's a good feeling, no, Chris?
It is. It's great to know that I can help that many people. There's a little bit of pressure to it too, because like I get in a car wreck or something, there's that many people that are depending on me. So it's a little pressure, but I think it's good.
Yeah.
Asla says, I think I worry too much. Like you say, you definitely do. You're a smart guy and you're a thinker, and you're just getting in your head a little too much, I think. And that's not bad. That's just something you're going to work on over time, but it's pretty common in SEO for some reason. Great live today, guys. The best one so far, in my opinion. Well, thank you very much.
Here's my.
Simo says, great live, Chris. Keep bringing inspiring young, successful people like Saket. We appreciate that you showed up. Next week, I am going to have on Rohin. I haven't quite worked out the time, but he's going to be on Shun Rohin Dwa, who is, in my opinion, one of the best kept secrets in SEO as well. He's really good. You may know him as Rank Jacker on Legiit and other places. So he's not young, but I think he'll be able to give you some good value too. I hope he heard me say that. And I think that's probably a good place to stop, even though there's still 40 people on. It's been an hour and a half, and it's getting late there. So anything else you want to say?
I'd say I've said pretty much everything, but I would say just guys who are struggling in SEO, just don't give up just because SEO is a long process and there's so many things you can learn every day. And just keep moving on, keep up with your mentality that you can rank a site and with different or working strategies. Just test it yourself. Don't believe the experts, because there's so many experts out there that will say you different opinions about different things. Just see it from your own eyes and see what's working, and just rinse and repeat. Grow your business, smash it up.
And go visit you on Legiit at the link on the screen.
Oh, please.
You got to get better at promoting yourself.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll do this again later this week, probably Wednesday. I'll see how things are going. But all right, guys, thanks a lot for being here. We'll do it again. Thank you, Saket, for taking the time. And most importantly, figure out what you want in life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. I'll see you again soon.
Cheers.